Hi, everybody, and welcome to another episode. My name is Charles, and today my guest is Tatiana, who is a PhD and a data scientist and an AI strategist and an expert in nonverbal intelligence. So Tatiana spent 17 years at Boeing and Microsoft, and she built AI models to predict and prevent large-scale failures, including one that earned her a U.S. patent. Now, Tatiana works with sales teams, founders, and executives to decode the subtle human signals that AI still misses. So this is things like tones, trust cues, and body language. And it helps them to close high-ticket deals and lead with presence in high-stakes moments. Tatiana, thanks so much for joining me today.
Hello, Charles. Hello, all listeners. Thank you for inviting me. I'm happy to be here with you and share my insights.
Now, this is a truly unique topic. I don't think we've ever touched on this before. We're talking about signals that AI can't see. These are nonverbal intelligence in high-stakes sales, right?
Yes.
So you're going to have to give us a little bit more about what that really means.
It means that whatever we express and whatever we catch on our subconscious this is what nonverbal is. For example, sometimes you see a person and you feel like, oh, I'm so connected. I would like to meet them. I would like to know more. And you cannot figure out why. Like just a regular person, just a regular conversation, but you have so connected for whatever reason. And sometimes opposite. Sometimes everything goes great and regular conversation, maybe even interesting one, but you feel like something is not connecting, something is off. And this is oftentimes, if not always, something that we can sense, something that our subconscious can see. For example, microfacial expressions. Human eye is not as good to identify, oh, here is what micro expression of kindness, here is micro expression of anger, but subconscious can see it, catch it, and give you this kind of signal which we cannot easily interpret. So this is, in simple words, examples, how we can think about nonverbal.
And I think we've all experienced that. We've all sat next to somebody and just started talking, and it feels like you've known them forever. And then there are other times when you're usually on an airplane sitting next to somebody and they start talking and you just don't want to engage and you try to tune them out. And it could be almost a similar conversation, but there's just something about it. It might be in the tone or in the way that they look, or they're looking at you, or the way you're looking at them, or just situational that turns you away from that. So let's flip that around then to nonverbal intelligence in sales and talk about how this nonverbal cues are so crucial, even as AI becomes more advanced.
Sure. How about someone walks into car dealership and salesperson asks them, "Hi, how are you?" And they say, "Fine." And you see that they are not fine, right? That there is something is going on behind the curtain that they don't show. And then salesperson needs to decide how to approach it. Do they just jump into their own agenda, their own pitch, and start selling the car? Would they ask questions trying to understand what is going on? Would they ignore and ask some question about their family, or maybe 10 other options that they can use, right? And here is also how we read the person, if this person actually wants to be asked. So if salesperson can identify the true need, for example, this person maybe said fine, and they truly don't want to go into details. They just want to proceed with car purchase or asking questions or test drive or whatever it may be. Then it would be smart decision not to follow up and dig deeper. In other situation, for other personality types, it would be better to address it and ask, tell me more. I see that you are having some emotions or whatever they can read from the person. And that person says like, oh, I had really bad conversation at work with my executive, or maybe some problems with kids at school. And thank you for asking. Really hard days now, those teenagers. And it may be 5-minute conversation that can establish a rapport and tune into this buyer's world. And they will be much, much more open to looking at the car, at the specs, etc. Of course, if it's done sincerely. Of course, if it's not scripted, of course, if it comes from the heart. So this would be a very first example with someone just getting into the door of the dealership.
So we're talking about building connections, right? We're talking about building human connections.
Exactly.
It's usually one of the reasons why we don't connect with people is we're not connecting with them. Whatever it is that they're saying or how it is we're feeling currently, we're not able to bridge that gap. But you think that AI can help bridge that gap? Or you think that AI can become a tool that can be used to deliver insights on this?
In some regard, yes. I think there is two sides of this coin. Some good things and some not so much. And I can tell you about both. So on the good side, if we outsource, delegate some preparation work to AI, it would be great. So we can prepare some materials. Maybe we can learn a little bit about the person. If we already know who is coming, it's much harder to do when we have walk-ins, for example, or first-time callers. But if we have some information, we can prepare materials for them, maybe specific car models that they're interested in, maybe some comparison charts, etc. We can use some email tools that currently exist on the market that call themselves as personalization. And in some cases, they promise big things like, we will increase reply rates 8x and many other promises. The question is if they truly deliver. So last week I analyzed email tools. Half of them don't really work well. Another portion of them personalized by putting customers' names in parentheses. Have you ever received an email like hello, and there is a parenthesis and it says name?
So yes, I've received those.
So there are tools that would plug in customers' names and some other information in it. So this is one level of personalization. There are other tools nowadays that can scrape LinkedIn, web, social accounts, and plug in more personal information. For example, I saw you recently changed jobs, or I saw you attending that event. From one side, it does sound like personalization and a more humanistic approach and saves a lot of time for you from researching it. But on another side, a customer may think, how do they know? How do they know that I attended this event? How much else do they know about me? And why did they research it without my permission, or are they following me? So it may raise more concerns. Also, as many companies start using those tools more and more, we will start now getting emails and calls, not with the brackets, right, but with some stamps that were taken from LinkedIn or social media or some other places. And this level will not be personal for the consumer anymore, because they will be getting more and they will get fatigue from that. There is another level of tools that actually identify your personality profile by scraping your LinkedIn, and then they use ChatGPT or some other models incorporated in different tools to build this personal email to you, to your personality type. So LinkedIn doesn't really permit usage of scraping tools. So there is a violation on this side, and email tools they store, one of the providers claims that they store 2 billion of emails already. So how many of your emails with your customers do you want to store at that company's server or wherever they store? So there's a risk for breach.
Well, now, other times we hand that information over very willingly. And we've seen it done in games. It's usually on social media, and it says, what kind of superhero are you? Take this quiz, and you take this quiz, and it tells you, oh, you're Tony Stark, and you're Iron Man, without realizing that all of the questions that it's asking you, these are personality questions. They're trying to learn more about who you are as a person. And then that information gets fed over into the marketing algorithms so that they can serve you more personalized ads. And I do think it's funny that we use that word personalization without realizing that the whole root of personalization is person. There's a human being on the other end. And do you feel like that using AI for this, does it feel like lying, or does it make people, I should ask, feel like they're being lied to when they realize that it was an algorithm that got them to this point?
Again, there is a good and bad. Of course, I would like, as a consumer, I would like to get experiences that would be tailored to me. So if I want to buy a car, I would better have a tailored experience. So instead of giving me what I don't need, they would give me what I want. But would like it to be human and to be upfront with it. So if you are taking survey, like that, right? What kind of here you are, that you are aware that it's the purpose of the survey. And one thing is to volunteer with data, like an example that you gave, Charles. And another thing, when companies scrape this data without our permission, just by going into our social accounts, going to LinkedIn and some other places, CRMs and things like that. So there is a distinctions, I think, between different things, but I truly believe that we need to identify what sources we are using and what our information is based upon.
So we talked about the good and the bad for scraping your information and then hopefully using it for good, right? To give you a more positive experience, which makes sense because you're right. We do want that personal experience when we go shopping online, or even better, in person. We want to feel like these people know us. But it's not very realistic, right? Because I'm not going to remember every single person that I've had an interaction with. So to have AI give me help so that I can create that experience for them, I feel like that comes from a genuine place. What do you think?
I totally hear and agree with you, but we can flip this situation as well. How about companies that sends personalized emails to their customers using AI? And then salesperson meet with one of the customers over the phone or in person. Do you think this person would remember what AI sent them? And this customer who comes on the phone, they would think, John remembers about my trip to Australia last year because we chat about it a few times over email. And then when they meet, customer mentions something about Australia, and salesperson are completely indifferent about it. And then they mention another detail from emails, and salesperson doesn't react. This would be a breaking point, and customer will feel like, oh, it's weird. Who was there on email with me? Right? And of course, we can ask AI to prepare some information for us, but it will be very hard for us to catch up on all the conversation, all the details. Most likely, AI will provide some summary and not the details. But the customer will remember details, most likely, and not the summary. So this is a huge challenge that is coming. And the more we face those names in brackets kind of thing, the more customers will be like, oh, no, I already know this company. They just use stamps. They use AI. and I will just ignore their emails. And by the way, I had owners already telling me that they install anti-AI email tools. So they already bounce emails that are written by AI. So it's already in process. It's just a matter of how soon. So again, pluses and minuses.
I've heard it said that a lot of people these days, they want a more authentic experience. And I hear that word every once in a while, authenticity. They want it to be authentic. And I actually disagree with that. I don't think people truly want authentic experiences. I think they want to feel like they're being given an authentic experience, which is very different. I'm not expecting a human being to remember all these details. If AI remembers all these details, then it feels authentic. And I think people are putting more into that than they are of an actual true authentic experience. I don't know if that's something you're experiencing as well.
It's an interesting question, Charles. It also depends on personality type. Some personality type, they don't care about authentic or whatever. Give me what I need and I'm done. Like I'm go. Other personality types, like understand me first, feel my pain first, emphasize, decrease my anxiety. And then let's talk about your product, your service, blah, blah, blah. Then I'm yours, maybe forever. Or at least for years. And others may say, okay, give me numbers and let me read the numbers. And then I will make my own conclusion. I don't need your opinion. So there are different personality types. So depending on their needs, they have different preferences. So anxious type would want more connection, like you said, more authentic experience. Strategist type would want like, I'm in and I'm out. I don't care. So those people will not be thinking much about kind of experience they're getting as long as they get what they want in terms of the result.
Speaking of people trying to get what they want, I want to talk about, because we've been talking about a lot about the good and a little bit about the bad, but I want to dive a little bit deeper into some of the bad, specifically the misuse or the overuse of AI when it comes to personalized interactions, even personalized sales interactions. What risks are you seeing?
Just a little bit a segue. Yesterday, I printed a report for someone I know on LinkedIn using one of those tools. And I sent this report about their personality type and said that this is anyone can do for $30 a month. They can use this tool, pull report, and share with whoever they want. And this person who I sent this report to was just shocked how much information and how easy for $30. And actually for $30, I can do 500 of those per month. They were shocked. So they were so frustrated, they didn't expect it. So it's already shocking some of the people as they find out. Other risks are much bigger volume and level. So how about companies that have 2 billion emails on their server? Just a couple days ago, I think there was an announcement that 16 billion passwords were stolen from Google, Apple, and Facebook and some other companies. And they called it one of the biggest ones ever. So if we can see a situation when so many passwords are stolen from those big companies, what will happen to the emails that are stored in not such protected companies? So one of the companies that I researched, AI company, without naming names, it's offshore organization, but their operations under US jurisdictions. So they're supposed to follow rules, US rules. But when I looked at the security, security protocols and things that they are using are not that great. And to use their services to personalize emails, you need to give your full access to all your emails. Everything that you already have, plus what you will be sending on receiving going forward. When I saw it, I said, no, thank you. So customers would need to decide what they're going to do when they will be granting some rights. And we are in charge for that as well, because it's our decision as humans eventually. Give access or not, subscribe to those kind of companies or not. And I think it's a huge risk in data leakage. I asked ChatGPT to give me just 20 ways how this information can be misused. And ChatGPT easily gave me 20. And if I ask 100, probably it gave me 100. But those 20 were so realistic. And recent research I read about LLMs models that they can be blackmailing humans. And it was not like woo-woo article or anything like that. It was a researcher who was given analysis of different LLMs models. Going forward, they tested how likely they are to blackmail humans. And different models have different likelihood of that. So if we're already talking about models blackmailing us, just think how someone who got power over all those emails, for example, video recordings, call recordings, numbers, contract numbers, how much we pay, how much they get, all of that information, how it can be used, is just even difficult to imagine the scale of it. So it's really dangerous things that we are getting into. And talking about security and legislations, right now there are conversations about putting a ban on states, United States, taking some actions and laws in each of the states to regulate AI environment. So if this happens, then for the next 10 years, states will not be able to regulate this area. So 10 years, it's a long time period for quickly developing industry like that, right? And states will not have any power over it. It's dangerous, I think. So we will see how it will work out. But there are so many concerns in this.
It can be extremely difficult because it's one thing to talk about regulations. It's another thing to talk about responsibility, right? Who's going to take responsibility if and when something goes wrong? And oftentimes with those regulations, that's what you're doing, is you're saying, look, if something goes wrong, you are to be held accountable. And nobody wants to be held accountable for what could eventually turn into, massive lawsuits because your data got leaked. It was once said that if you have a credit card, that number's out there. There's nothing you can do about it either. It is just out there. It's just a matter of time before somebody out there on the dark web finds it and tries to use it. And I feel like it's the same kind of thing where if you're interacting with AI in some way, your personal information is out there somewhere. It's just a matter of time before somebody finds a way to utilize it against you. So yeah, how do you balance this now? How do you balance these highly personalized sales experiences while trying to protect customer data and customer privacy? Because that's got to be a challenging balancing act.
Yes, it's a challenging question, Charles, because of course we would like efficiency. We would like to incorporate tools to speed up things and to improve things, because in many cases I can do better and faster than we can. But how to balance it? So I already know people who remove information from their LinkedIn profile and only keep whatever they eager to share. Of course, it limits us in other ways, right? When we try to connect with someone or share our experiences or our services, it can limit us because we removed part of the information. But they find that the less information is on LinkedIn and on social, the fewer chances that it will be misused. And every time when I personally interact with ChatGPT, and I work with ChatGPT a lot, and I have multiple custom ChatGPTs that I use, I always know that whatever I put there, I need to be ready that it will be known. Everyone would know. So everyone would know. So if I feel comfortable that everyone would know this fact about me, about my life, or questions I ask, then I'm fine with it. If not, then make decision not to use it, right? Another question when we talk about companies, when company decides to use some particular software, it's now not only about them, right? It's about customers and also some middlemen. Maybe they have companies in between. Maybe they have some investors, stakeholders, etc. So it's now taking responsibility not only for your information, for yourself, for your own actions, but also for other people. I don't know if it was your experience. My experience recently was that you get into video calls, Zooms, and people just automatically start recording them without even asking you. And it's becoming like a second norm that everyone is recording everything, even if you don't give consent. Of course, it's not always, but I see more and more cases of that. So how many cameras are recording us in any single moment, when I entered Costco, when I left Costco, when I got gas, when I went to this doctor or that doctor, purchased something there, called someone there, and then as a whole history about me, about my life is built, and I have a persona that they can target or use in any way. So we need to be conscious when we exposing our information and companies' information, and especially with those 2 billion emails that they already have. I would think 3 times before exposing companies' emails and video calls and audio calls, because the risk may be much higher than the value we temporarily receive. We already see lawsuits between AI companies themselves and between people suing AIs, between companies trying to sue other companies for misuse of data and things like that. It will only get harder and harder, especially if we will not progress with regulations much in the near future, at least.
Well, thankfully, most companies now, they can't start recording without your consent. They have to tell you that this is being recorded. If they call you, it's the first thing it says is this call is being monitored or recorded. And when you're on a Zoom call, if they're not telling you, Zoom itself now, when you click record, it'll actually say in their earpiece and it says on the screen, this is being recorded. So at least they're giving you that much of a heads up so that you can opt out or just leave the call if you don't want to be recorded, which is definitely nice. I'm more concerned with the tactics that are being used that you don't necessarily know about, like the quizzes, the ones that say, what superhero are you? Answer these questions. And it'll ask you 10 questions, which seem so meaningless, but you've never taken a psychological test before. And when you take a psychological test, these are exactly the questions that they would ask to try to understand who you are as a person. And you'll take one to find out what hero you are. And then you'll see another one says, what character from Shrek are you? Take this quiz. And oh, it's really exciting and it's fun. And you'll post it on your social media. These are all designed to get to know you better. Originally, yes, so that they could serve you better ads, but who knows what that information could be then sold for. The whole model of the company is to get as much information about you as a person as possible and then sell that information to whoever wants it for whatever reasons. And I feel like that data getting out there is even more devastating than when they scrape it off of your LinkedIn, because at least with LinkedIn, I knew exactly what I was putting in there. Like I did that very purposely. I want people who are looking to hire to find me, and I want them to find me because of these things I put in there. I never thought twice about answering what superhero am I, and now they can use that against me. And I never thought about it until I've already taken the quiz 20 times. And then I realized, oh my gosh, I'm just taking these personality tests and telling people all this very personal stuff about me.
Yeah, maybe it will be Good news to you, maybe bad, but actually profiling tools, and I'm using multiple profiling systems. They actually can use Quiz or LinkedIn. Both are great for pretty much identifying similar things. Profiling systems, they target different things. For example, one can be more like identify your behavior type and your motivation, what you will be excited by. So if I'm going to hire you, I would know how to motivate you, what will be discouraging. Maybe I will not give you some assignments that I know that you wouldn't like as a personality type. So this is a good thing. Other would target more emotional state, like how this person will react if we do A, how this person will react if I do B. This is more for manipulative approaches, trigger some pain points when I want to sell you something, right? So if you are more responsive in guilt trap kind of things, then I can create advertisement with this kind of angle that I know you will be more likely to buy this thing from me if I use this technique. And we can say it's also personalization because you will be more sensitive, but it's borderline with manipulation. And can be manipulation openly, depending on how people and companies decide to use it. So, but those profiling systems are different, but they can use similar inputs. So if we scrape your social, your LinkedIn, and have you take this quiz, then we have a more complete picture. If I have your photo, if I have your speech, how you speak, and maybe even video recording, I can tell about you even more and maybe more than you know about yourself. Because, if you were not prepared as a profiler, you never think like, oh, what is my deepest motivation layer? And then what is the second one on top of it? What my reaction would be if someone will trigger this point, is that we don't think about our personalities in this kind of context. Most of us don't. But profiling does exactly that. So I wouldn't worry exactly like LinkedIn versus the test, because both of them are great sources for extracting profile, depending on the needs of the needs and intentions of the particular extractor.
I don't know if that's good news or bad news for me. I'm on YouTube, so I'm sure you've got my video, my voice, and now I've taken all these personality quizzes. I think somebody could just be me if they wanted to be me.
And maybe we are not far from that, right? Deep fake and all of that. And some people try to hide, others say whatever. And I think the best is in the middle, finding a balance and deciding to what extent you would like to contribute to those sources. And there is a saying that there is no privacy. There is no privacy, even if we think that we don't have a LinkedIn profile, we don't really communicate on social, we don't take quizzes, but we still appear on some cameras in Costco, in some cameras there. We drive in cars that collect information about our driving experience, roads that we take, and all of those things. Who has Alexa or similar tools at home? They pretty much being listened to every single day. So how about our phones, our computers? We can just continue. Apple watches people wear that they take with them everywhere, even swim, right? So I don't think that we should get paranoid because it's unavoidable one way or another. But smart, conscious choice, when we have one, is very important to have.
All right, Tatiana, PhD, data scientist, AI strategist, expert in nonverbal intelligence. I have all of your links down in the description, so everybody who's watching and listening, I strongly recommend you go and check out those links. Say hi. You can tell her Chuck sent you. Tatiana, thank you so much for being a guest today.
Thank you, Charles. It was a pleasure to answer your challenging questions, and we are living in this new era of AI. So thank you, everyone, for your attention, and be smart.